What do we do with the fact that there are different faiths? So does it mean that Hindus go to Hindu heaven? Do Muslims go to Muslim heaven? Do all religions just go to the same heaven? Or is Jesus just one way of many ways?
There's a concept called religious pluralism, which is kind of looking at this whole topic. That there's a bit of me that's actually sympathetic with this, because I want to get along with everyone. I'm actually quite anti-combative. Like I'd rather just kind of say, look, what can we unify on? What can we like? How can we see what we've got in common? And so actually, when I meet people of other faiths, I don't want to be obstructive. The thing is that I also believe in truth. And Jesus has said, I am the way, the truth and the life, and that no one comes to the Father except through me. And like it or not, like he has said that, and he gets to do it because he's God. And so, you know, when I talk with people of other faiths, you know, I'm really keen to see sort of what insight they may have into God, but actually, and I'm not saying that they haven't seen anything of God there, but ultimately what we know is that the truth is in Jesus Christ, who lived and died and was resurrected, and that if there's anything that is contradictory to that, then by definition that cannot be true. And so, for example, you know, in Islam, there's the sense of that, you know, the afterlife is you have an immortal soul and you either go to heaven or hell. Hinduism is that you'll get reincarnated. Sikhism, as I understand it, has sort of similar principles or view of the afterlife that's similar to Hinduism, until you kind of reach that kind of freedom from reincarnation, which I think is called mukti in Sikhism, and moksha in Hinduism. So there are a number of different verdicts on the afterlife, and of course in saying who God is, what God is, how he feels about us, if he wants to relate to us at all, and actually what the purpose of life is for. Even it's like they literally talk about in their worldview on every single area of life, and there are some huge differences actually. So when people say, oh, all religions are the same, there's just a few sort of differences, I beg to differ. Actually, when you look at them all, there are vast differences between them, and actually some innate contradictions in some of them, or between the two. So yes, there's one place where I absolutely want to respect. I want to listen to people from other faiths, but ultimately we have in our hands in the Bible the words of Jesus, which say that he is the way and the truth and the life, and that actually there is no alternative to that.
Yeah, I think it's like it's related, but it's like tangent to what Ben was saying there about the differences between religions and his convictions about Christianity. Is that when we approach this question, I think sometimes the idea that, as I'm sitting here, might say I think Jesus is the only way to God, can come across really arrogant. Like how dare you say that? And I get it totally. I would probably think the same about someone who says something different. But I think that we need to realise there are no neutral worldviews. There are no neutral positions. Everybody, whether you're a religious person, agnostic, atheist, whatever, everyone is holding a set of ways of seeing the world, a set of beliefs that they believe to be true about the world. Everyone is doing that. And so by definition, if an agnostic person says, look, there's no way of knowing what really happens after we die, they are counting me out and my view out. They're saying that my view, therefore, as a Christian, isn't true. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we're all in some way excluding someone else. And one of the first things Ben started with is saying, look, I want to be tolerant. I want to get along with people. And it's quite possible to get along with people and disagree with their worldview. Yeah. You don't have to be, that's quite possible. That's what critical thinking and engaging with each other. But everybody has a worldview, and because of that, everybody is going to be excluding someone from what they believe to be true. And so we really need to appreciate that this question isn't just levelled at the Christian, it's also levelled at the atheist. It's also levelled at the Muslim, whoever. Everyone, and it's a great book actually, I recommend this, it's called The Sanity of Belief by Simon Edwards. And he's talking about exactly the kind of things we're talking about today. And one of the quotes says, he says, everybody has a worldview and everybody has to give an account of why they think the world exists the way it does. Everybody has to. So it's not just religious people. You don't get out of jail free card just because, well, I don't believe anything. I don't believe in God. You still have to explain why there is suffering in the world. Is there an afterlife? All these questions, these big questions we're talking about, everyone has to do it. And so doing that I can't turn around and say, well, all you people who don't believe in God, you believe the same thing. It's not true. So why do we think it's okay to do that about religious people? It would be completely arrogant of me to say, oh, you know, Hindus and Buddhists believe the same thing. They don't. I should deeply respect the differences that they have and do the homework to know exactly what the differences are. So I don't straw man them and say, this is what two groups believe, and I think very differently. And I think that's really, really important. If we want to be intellectually honest, right, about our search for truth, wherever you land, we need to respect that everyone has a worldview. Everyone has to answer the big questions of life. And the question of the afterlife is a huge question for me as a Christian, as it is for my agnostic or atheist friends.